Okay, second grade team, we have number corner February. Here are the Bridges notes. You have the heavy hitters being calendar grid, daily rectangle, and computational fluency. And then additional notes. These aren't in bold, so they aren't saying them as the major hitters, but you have calendar collector and number line. So if we look at calendar grid and we look at what you do like on a daily basis, you're gonna hit your calendar grid. And bringing back what that was, you go to those flags, and here is my notes on that, where you're focusing on the daily story problem that's pertaining to that country. And those problems can be found right here. You can print them all out and then just fold them up and put them in to your calendar. And it's just solving problems using, you're trying to use the visual of the number line here for the kids. And your unknown is going to change, whether it's at the end of the equation or it's going to be one of the missing add-ins. So the other part to calendar grid is the amount of red in each flag and relating it to the famous fraction of a half. And then at the end of the month, you're relating that red part to a third. So it's working on that story problem each day, and then whether red is more or equal or less than a half. And then later in the month, a third. Okay, so that's calendar grid in a nutshell. Daily rectangle, something else they say is the big hitter, is this right here, the pocket chart. And you're working on multi-digit addition with your base 10 area pieces. So my notes on that, if you scroll down right here, you would prepare by putting this pocket chart up with some paper on the side, and a few days of the week, you would make a deposit to what we're going to call the base 10 bank. So right here is going to be our bank, and we're going to roll 2 dice. One of them is going to be 1 to 6 dice, and that'll tell us how many 10s we collect. And then the other one is a 4 to 9 dice for how many 1s we collect. So we'd start on the first day by rolling our dice, and let's say we rolled a 3, and then we rolled a 4. So we're going to make 3 10s and 4 1s, and we put it in our bank, right? Then the next day we come back and we roll, and we got 5 10s and 7 1s. So we put that right below it, and now we work on different strategies of kids discussing how they added that together. And as you would conclude yourself, you're going to be getting into the hundreds, because now we'll have a new total in our bank, right? And then the next day we're going to add on to that. And the next day we're going to add on to that, or however many days a week you choose to do this, so that you're going to be ending working with numbers in the hundreds and asking for estimates of what do we think the answer is going to be close to. Is it going to be around 300 today? Are we going to get in the 300s? Are we going to get to 500 today? Are we ever going to hit 1,000? So it's working on that multi-digit addition. And it would be good to read through the math background of second graders and their multi-digit addition strategies. It's a good read right there for you. And then the other big hitter they say is computational fluency. Now, computational fluency you can't see in this picture. And so if you scroll down right here, it's practicing those addition and subtraction fact strategies with practice sheets. So if you go through, you have the count on facts, like these are all your different strategies. And yes, up here, it has them being timed, but that's up to you what you're going to do there. My advice would be don't. And then you would just have kids working on those strategies. So they're the quick fact practice, and then the nice ones down here are the Scout Them Out pages, where you have a whole bunch of facts, and we have to look with our math detective eyes and see which ones are count on facts. Let's do those. Which one are make 10 facts? Do we know those? How about the doubles, right? So we can work on that together. So if I go back, I said my advice, would you have time to do a Scout Them Out sheet once a week? Because those are really good ones to be able to scout them out together and actually see which ones are which, and then incorporate in a few quick fact practice sheets each week. Like, is there a spot you could put those in? Because these are nice practice sheets. Or maybe send them home so parents can see like the fact strategies that we're trying to work on. So those are the big hitters that they put in there. The other two, you have calendar collector, which really you aren't collecting anything, but you're just working on telling time. Now that is important. You guys did that more at the beginning of the year. And whether you could incorporate that in a few times each week where you just practice telling time. There are three options. The number 2 is how, number 1 and 2 is how Bridges advises this month of practicing telling time, or number 3, like just practice telling time however the heck you want. And you can make use of the clock app, and knowing that on the clock app, you probably already know this, but you have free moving hands, which is gonna be harder. So when I'm making like 2:30, I'm gonna go to 30, I'm gonna go to 2, and the kid cannot check themselves. But if I go then put the geared hand and I go and make 2:30, now what's nice is it has moved the hour hand for me. And on this one, it didn't, right? And this one I can actually click down here and check and see that I got 2:30, and I can switch this to PM. And say, okay, well, when I'm working with a non-geared hand, I need to like actually be more precise with my hour hand and know that that's going to be halfway to 3. The other ideas here are to practice telling time just with this idea. You give each kid a mini clock, and you would have the geared clock, and then you would choose an hour of the day. So you say, okay, today we're going to work in the hour of 1, right? And then you're going to have 2 dice that they roll. So let's say they roll a 1 and a 4. Okay, we got 5. All right, so we're in the hour of 1. So go ahead and put your hour hand on 1. Our minute hand is going to be on the 5. Put your minute hand on the 5. If your minute hand is on the 5, should you move your hour hand anywhere, or is it still going to be exactly on the 1, right? Okay, what time do you think we are at? Okay, so now they're trying to determine we're at 1:25, and then they would check your geared clock to see how close they got to the precise spot of the hour hand, okay? Or you can play telling time with bingo cards here, and you're gonna use that same idea where you have an hour of the day, and you roll the dice to determine where your minute hand goes, and then see if it's actually on the game board, so you can play it more like a game. So if you can incorporate 5 minutes every so often each week to practice just telling time on some mini clocks, that'd probably be good. Just get it in there just a little. Number line workout. That one is not a premiered one of the heavy hitters, but it's something you do every day by adding on another 10 to your number line. Another 10 hours. So I have that down here. Just every school day, placing another 10 on your number line, counting by those 10s, and then celebrating that millennium when we make it to that 1,000 mark. And what is the difference between these words dealing with years and time and 1,000 and 110? And then you have your practice sheet right here if you would like to use it to work on big numbers, okay? That 1,000 time is going to come on the 100th day, and I think right now we're in the 80s right now. So there it is, number corner in a nutshell.